Hey BAMMA Nation, Dixie Jean here, getting ready for Badbeat 11 come October 25th at Commerce Casino. Right now we're sitting with John Hackleman Jr. How are you doing today?
Doing good, how are you?
Doing great. Getting ready for this fight. We're less than a week away, but there's been a change just over this past weekend. You went from going against Jimmy Stormo to now going against Edward Hyman. Has that changed your strategy at all?
Not really. I pretty much am going to go out there and try to do the same thing regardless, which is punch someone in the face and try not to get hit or taken down. So it's a little bit different of an opponent, but pretty much, the same strategy. It doesn't matter who I'm going to go against.
No, you say you're just going to punch him in the face. Is that your own advice or your dad's advice?
Well, both. Both, but I mean that's kind of like I think that's the game plan for most people is to put a beating on and try to take as little damage as possible. So I'm expecting it probably to be a little tougher of a fight, but yeah, I mean that's just what I'm going to try to do. Either way, it doesn't really make. I'm just glad I have a fight. It doesn't make a difference to me.
And even though that your last opponent, his record was a little bit different, 1-4 versus another debuter like yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I actually have a little more footage to go off of on the new opponent because he has more stuff on YouTube and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just going to be, he's probably going to feel jitters, it being his pro debut. I didn't really know anything about my last opponent, so it really didn't change much for me.
Okay. Well, this is actually your first interview with BAMMA USA, and I know that your dad, John Hackleman, is a very well-known trainer, especially with his own facility, the Pit, kind of well known in San Luis Obispo and also in Vegas. Is that something that got you into MMA in the first place? Your dad, or was it your own motivation?
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. I was kind of forced into like karate and kickboxing at a young age, but he didn't really get me into MMA. I kind of started training on my own as far as like the mixed martial arts aspect of it, and he didn't necessarily want me to fight or anything. That was kind of what I wanted to do. But definitely had a huge influence on me getting into martial arts in the first place. He's kind of a big deal. If you ask him, he'll tell you he's kind of a big deal.
He's kind of a big deal?
That's what he would tell you.
Oh, well, I don't doubt it. He seems like a very well-known person, and I mean, he's built that up for himself. He deserves that a little bit, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Your opponent, he's kind of a bigger guy too. You're 6'3", he's 6'2". Do you think it's going to stay standing, or are you going to take it to the ground?
I have no clue. I just kind of want to go in there and, just see how it goes. You just go with the flow. I'd rather keep it standing. I think from what I've seen, maybe that's what he'd rather do. But we'll just mix it up and see where it goes.
Now, being that it is your first pro fight, going into this, what's the biggest thing that adds pressure to you? Is it the crowd, or is it just filling out the opponent in the first place?
You know what? There really isn't too much added pressure being a pro fight because all my amateur fights, they've kind of made a big deal about them. There's been pretty big crowds just because of who my dad is. So I've had to deal with the pressure already for a while. It's not really going to be much different, except I get a knee and elbow people in the face now, and that I think adds a little bit more to my arsenal, but also adds something I have to watch out for. So just maybe the change in the rules a little bit would be the biggest change. But as far as pressure, like I feel the same pressure as an amateur fight. I don't want to lose. I don't think anyone wants to lose. So that part doesn't really change at all.
Understood. No, but going into it, what do you think is going to be your biggest, I guess you could say, your best asset into this fight?
I think my power, maybe. I don't know. I know this guy. From what I saw, I didn't watch too much footage on him. I try not to watch too much footage on my opponents. I let my friends or like coaches watch the footage, but he looked like he had pretty decent striking and he was a strong guy. But I'm pretty confident in the fact that I can knock pretty much anyone else in the world out if I land a clean punch. So I think my power might, be the biggest difference in this fight.
Well, we'll be definitely looking for that, especially right in the middle of the face, as your dad suggested.
Yeah.
Well, going into this, we really have a different variety of fighters that are going to it. A lot of them are really exciting. Looks like you're going to be a very exciting fight as well. 185, big group, big guys, and harder they fall, they
bigger they are, the harder they fall.
something like that. One of our sponsors, Be First Clothing, is actually going to be sponsoring Knockout and Submission of the Night. Is that a little bit more incentive, a little bit more money in your pocket?
You know, I won't even be thinking about that. Getting a knockout to me is like probably the best high that you can feel, or even, you know, just winning is a great feeling, but just knocking someone out is probably the best thing I can ever feel. So that's my incentive. But money's cool. I like money. Everyone likes money.
Well, it's always nice to see those, and it makes the crowds even more excited to go to these fights. You never really wanted to go to decision. You like to know, like, you finished it in the first round, second round, just getting in there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially with, I'm not calling out like any judging, but you never know what the judges see, what they're watching kind of thing. And especially lately, it's been a little bit off. So, yeah, I think the game plan always is just get in there and get out as fast as you can and be winning. So that's going to be my game plan.
Well, it looks like you're in good spirits and you're getting ready for this fight. Again, it's always tough, especially when the last minute changes that you had to go through with this. But thank you so much for sticking with it. And that's how the fight world goes sometimes. People drop off and you get new opponents, and it's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. Ready to have some fun.
All right, well, the best thing that we could say right now is we wish you success in your fight, and make sure to stay healthy, especially this last week.
Yeah, definitely, I will. Cool.
All right. We look forward to seeing you come fight night, and I'll see you at weigh-in, so make sure you're doing well. How is the weight cut going for you, by the way?
I'm good. My weight's already where I need to be.
Awesome. We're talking about training a little bit ago, and we're talking about how you're doing well with your weight cut and everything like that. But you normally train out in San Luis Obispo, but then you kind of went to higher elevation in Utah. Is that something you do for your training?
No, I've actually never been here before. My dad was went out of town. He started doing the Ultimate Fighter with BJ Penn, and then he was going to Hawaii to visit family for a few days. So like my last week, there was going to be no one really leading my training. And Ramsey and Steven Seiler were out there a couple weeks prior. And so I kind of made the plans to come out here and train with the guys at Pit Elevated. And I wasn't really thinking about the elevation part, but man, it does make a little bit of a difference.
Do you think that's going to be going in your favor? Especially, it's a little bit more difficult to breathe up there, right?
I hope so, because it was a little bit of a struggle to breathe. So I hope it makes a difference in my cardio. We'll see. I'm coming back to California tomorrow, and we'll see how I feel. I have a feeling I'm going to get off the plane and be like, oh, I can finally breathe again. So, yeah.
Yeah, fresh California, Southern California air.
California smog. It's really nice.
It's nice. Oh, you gotta love home. Anyways, going into it though, I'm sure you've been training with a lot of guys. Any shout outs you want to give to your sponsors, trainers, teammates?
Just all the guys at Paragon Jiu-Jitsu, the Pit Elevated, and that's pretty much it, I guess. All my friends and family, I love you.
Well, I'm sure they love you too. Your dad is standing behind you. If you do bad, he will punch you in the face. So we know that.
Yeah.
All right, getting ready for this. We have a lot of things that we do, especially with social media. Is that something that kind of helps influence you, get those that feedback from your fans?
Yeah, I mean, I like social media. I don't have much of a social life anymore because I train and stay away from people a lot of the time, except for my training partners and the few friends that I keep around. So social media is my way of being social still, I guess. So I'm kind of a social media nerd.
Well, getting into that, especially with it being your pro debut, it's good to have that outlet to have people follow you. So do you have any names that they can follow you at, so they can follow you on either Instagram, Twitter?
Yeah, my Twitter is at John Hackleman Jr. and I think that's the same as my Instagram now. Yeah, I changed my Instagram and my Facebook. They're all at John Hackleman Jr.
Great.
So follow me. Definitely follow me. I want more followers. And I'm only at like 400 on Twitter, and I feel like I'm talking to myself. So follow me on Twitter.
Well, if you're talking about, the cool fresh air in Utah, people are probably a little bit envious being down here in Cali.
Yeah.
But they don't have the beach, so.
Yeah.
All right, well, Well, I was just wondering about that. That way people, especially being a debuter, that's a big thing that you have going for you, that they can start following you and follow your career as it launches off.
Yeah, I put really good pictures up of me, like half naked sometimes. So
Ladies, you heard that.
Ladies,
all your children,
yeah,
earmuffs. No. All right, well, we look forward to seeing you. Social media's behind you. Your family's behind you. BAMMA USA, we're behind you as well. And we look forward to seeing you. All right, BAMMA Nation, Dixie Jean here. Thank you, John, for sitting down with us, getting ready for fight night. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting and possibly some punches in the face.
I'm expecting that. And so should you.
Oh, so should I.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look forward to it. Just make sure it's not your face that gets punched.
Yeah, I'll try. Thanks, Dixie.
All right, stay safe.